Hello, my name is Bolanle, and on today's video we are going to be learning how to draft a basic bodice block. And this is helpful when you are doing bustier or corset or any dress, even blouse. You can use this for them. So in order to start, these are the things that you need. You need your pattern paper like the one I have here. You need your tape, then you need your ruler, you need your marker, then you need your pencil, preferably HB pencil. You need your seal tape. This one I'm using Abro tape. Then you need your sharpener, you need your eraser, and you also need your French curve. You need a curve. So let's get right onto it. So in order to start, the first thing you're going to do is to get your pattern paper like the one I have here. Then when you get your measurements, you have to look for the biggest measurement that you have, the biggest measurement. So in this case, the biggest measurement I have is the hip. So, and the hip is 44 inches. So you divide that hip into two, sorry. You divide the biggest measurement into 2. That is 44 divided by 2, that's 22. Then you now add 2 inches to it. If you divide 44 by 2, that's 22 plus 2. That will give you 24 inches. So that's how I got this box. So once you do that, you draw a starting point. Then the 24 inches, you now draw is just exactly what I have here, 24 inches. So then you divide it into 2. You draw a box, and that box, the length of the box is the length of shoulder to hip, which is 26. My shoulder to hip is 26. So that's what I have here. Then my hip divided into 2, that's 44 divided into 2, that's 22 plus 2 inches, that's 24. So I now draw the 24 and divide it into 2 equal parts. So that's how I have this box that you see here. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is on the front, center front, this is the center front here, and this is the center back. So on the center front, I rule from shoulder to bust line. My shoulder to bust point, this is the bust line. The shoulder to bust point, that's shoulder to nipple, that's 10.5. And that's it, that's the bust line. Then shoulder to under bust, that's what we have. Then shoulder to waist, then shoulder to hip, that's what we have here. Then for the back, remember I said that the front is longer than the back. And how do you measure this? You measure from your shoulder to your navel. From your navel, you go up by 2 inches. Shoulder to navel, go up by 2 inches and tie an elastic around it. So from whatever you get, that is going to be your front length. That's what I have here. That's from the shoulder to the waist, which is the front length, that's 18. Then from the back, there's a bone at the back of your neck. You put your tape there. When you put your tape there, down to where the elastic is, that will be your back length. And that's what I have here. Mine is 16.75. I'll be doing a video soon on how to take measurement. So my front length is 18, my back length is 16.75. So now on the front, on the center front, I have the bust line, under bust line, waistline, and hip line. Then this is from the shoulder to the waist at the back. That's the back length. So let's start. So in order to start this, the first thing I'm going to do is to mark my neckline. I'm going to mark my neckline. How am I going to be doing that? The standard neckline for the front is 3 by 3. 3 by 3. So I'll take my pencil and mark 3 inches for my neck width. Then the depth will also be 3 inches. After doing that, I'm going to connect them together, just like you see me doing here. I'll be connecting them together. Have you seen it? So the next thing I'm going to do is to divide my shoulder into 2. My shoulder is 15, so into 2, that will give me 7.5. So I'm going to mark 7.5. So at this point of 7.5, I will be coming down by 1 inch. Then I'll connect it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to get my chest line. So how do I get my chest line? I'll divide my bust into 6. I'll divide it by 6 and add 1.5 inches. That's to divide 40 by 6 plus 1.5. That gives me 8.1 plus 8.1. So from this point that it's here, that's from this slant. The reason for this slant is because our shoulder is not straight. So I'm going to put it there and mark 8.1 So once I mark that, I'm going to connect it and rule it across, like what you see me doing here. So once I rule it across now, so remember the shoulder is 7.5, so I'll come to the chest line. So this place is going to be the chest line. This line is going to be the chest line. So I'll also mark my shoulder measurement on the chest line, which is 7.5, and I'm going to be connecting it. So once I do that, what I'm going to do next is to put my tape on where this slant starts here, down to the chest line, divide it into 2 equal parts. So I'm going to mark it and come in by 0.5 inch by ½ inch, just like what you're seeing here. So after that, I'm going to connect it back to the slant. Then on the chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. My bust is 40 divided by 4, which is 10. So I'm going to mark 10. So once I've done that, I'll now take my French curve and connect both of them. Just look at this carefully. Exactly what you're saying here. So that is going to be my armhole line. That's my armhole line. So exactly what I do here, I'm also going to do the same thing at the back. So this is what I'm going to do at the back. Remember I said the standard depth line for the front, for this front is 3 by 3. So for the back is 3 by 1. So for the width is 3. For the depth is 1. So I'm going to connect that. I'll be connecting that. You see how I place my curve? That's exactly what you're seeing here. This is my neck. So I'm going to divide my shoulder measurement by 2, which is 7.5. And I'll come down by 1 inch. Just exactly what I did in the front is exactly what I'm going to repeat. So once I've done that, I'm going to be connecting them. So on the chest line again, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement, which is 7.5, and draw a straight line for the slant down to the chest line. So once I've done that, I'm also going to divide it into 2 equal parts, starting from this slant line here. Divide it to 2 equal parts. Go in by 0.5 inch. Connect it back to the slant. So after doing that on the back, on the back piece, so I'll divide my bust measurement into 4, exactly what I did in the front. That will be 10. That's 40 divided by 4, 10. But I'm going to add 0.25 inches to this. 0.25 inches for the back, 0.25 inches. And I will connect it. And the reason why I put 0.25 inches is because of back tightening. There's what we call back tightening. You notice that many of us, when we are fixing our zip, sometimes the zip will bulge. You see, it will bulge out. So in order to eliminate that bulging, this is what I'm going to do. So on the back length, I will come in by 0.5 inches. Then start from the neck side and connect them together. That's exactly what you see me doing here. I'm going to be connecting them together. So have you noticed now? You see that from here, so this is going to eliminate the back the zip bulge. So now if you look at the chest line, you notice that it has automatically took out like 0.25 inches. So that's exactly what I replaced it. That's what you saw me doing. So after this, what am I going to do next? What I'm going to do next is on the front line, on the center front, on my waistline, the center front on the waistline, I'm going to mark my darts. My dart intake. And how do I get my dart intake? I'll divide my bust into 4 and remove 1.5 inch. Divide your bust measurement for that. Divide your bust measurement into 4 and remove 1.5. So my bust is 40, remember, divided by 4, that's 10, minus 1.5, that's 8.5. So now that 8.5 that I got, I will now divide it into 2. That will give me 4.25. So now this is my data line now. So remember, I said bust divided by 4. Then whatever I get, I'll divide it into 2. From the center front, I'm going to mark that. Then mark the same thing on the bust line and connect them together, just exactly what I just did here. Then after doing that, the next thing you're going to do is on each side of the dart, the straight line of the dart, on this side I'm going to be marking half inch. I'll go out by half inch on both sides. So after doing that, I'm going to connect it back. I'll be connecting it back. So this is my dart. Are you seeing it? This is my dart. So after doing that, now I'll go to the back too. I'm going to mark the dart. You start from that original line of the back here, and I'm also going to mark the same 4.25. Then you go to the chest line, mark 4.25. Then you come down the chest line. You come down by 1 inch. You come down by 1 inch, and you connect them. You connect the line together, exactly what I did. Remember, on the front, on the back, from the waistline, that's from the chest line to the waistline, you go down by 1 inch and you mark. So on both sides, you're going to mark half inch. So once I've got that, I'm going to be connecting them together. Exactly what you see me doing. So this is the dart for the back, and this is the dart for the front. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark my waist measurement. Remember, my waist is 34 divided by 4. My waist measurement, divide it into 4. Whatever is your waist measurement, divide it into 4. So whatever you get, add it here, mark it. Then this one, if you measure the dart line, is 1 inch. So you're going to replace it back, because in pattern, whatever you take, you replace it back. So remember, this on the waistline, this is my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to add this 1 inch back. Then for the back, you start the measurement from where I do that back bulge. That's half inch inside the pattern, as you can see. So you didn't start it from here because we've already taken a 0.5. So I'm starting to take the measurement from here, coming by. So my waist measurement divided by 4, then the 1 inch for the dart that I took, I'm going to be marking it, and I will connect them. I'm going to connect the line. I'm going to connect the line. I hope you're seeing it. Yes, this is the arm one, the pattern now. So the next thing I'm going to do now this is the half scale. Remember, this is the half scale. Now what am I going to do next? We're going to take out remember that the front length is longer than the back. The front is longer than the back. Now if you look at the difference between the front and the back, the difference for me, remember the front is 18, the back is 16.75. So the difference is 1.25. So that 1.25, you come to the bust line here and mark the same 1.25. So once you mark that, you're going to, from the bust line up here, you're going to draw a line out that run across that 1.25. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this bust dart. So it's going to make this side and this side equal. Now, let's move on to the hip side. Remember, we are working on full scale. So what am I going to do now? From this waistline, remember my waist is 18. Now I need you to pay close attention here. My waist is 18. This is my waist, 18. And my hip is 26. I hope you're seeing it here. So, and my hip measurement is 44 divided by 4, which is 11. So you're going to mark the 11 here. Now for the back, remember that for the back is shorter than the front. So what you're going to do is, from on the center part, that's on your center front, the pattern for the front, you take your tape, you start to measure your tape from the waist to the hip. Whatever you get, what I have here is 8. You go to the back, this is the back, you measure the same thing, that is 8. So you mark it And for the back, that is going to be my hip line. Remember, don't make mistake. Okay. So this is my front and this is my back. Like you saw that I explained. If you have questions, please ask me on the comment section. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to mark my hip measurement, which is 11. I'm going to be connecting them. So on the front, I'm going to connect my hip to my waist. For the front piece. Don't mind the seal tape that I use, is because the pattern is not long enough, so I just have to join two together. So when you connect them, you do the same thing on the back. You connect the waist to the hip. You're seeing it now. So what are we now doing next? Remember, you now come to the hips. On the hip line here, this is the hip line. Then this is also the hip line for the back. So on this hip line, you will mark that same dart, 4.25. And you go up by 2 inches. You mark the same dart line here, 4.25, and you go up by 2 inches. Do the same thing for the back as well. The back pattern, mark 4.25, go up by 2 inches. So after going up by 2 inches, I'm going to connect this dart line, the one from the waist. I'll be connecting it to the hip side. Do the same thing for the back. Connect it. So when you connect, you're just going to match all the lines together. That's all the dart line. Do the same thing for the back. Then you're also going to do the back tightening too on the lower pattern for the center back. Remember, on the waistline for the center back, we came in by 0.5 inch. And then we connected it from the neckline here. From the neck here, connected it to that 1/2 inch that we went in. And take note, depending on how deep the person back is, you can use your discretion. So if you are just starting out, I will advise you just use 0.5. But if the person back is deep, I use 0.75. Sometimes I even use 1 inch, depending, because some person's back are really deep. But to be on the safer side, just use 0.5 inch. So now on the hip, around this 2 inches line here, you're going to connect it back to that 1/2 inch that you have on the back. Just do it exactly just the way I'm doing it here. Exactly. So if you can actually use this, can you see it? So this has automatically eliminate the zip bulge that we usually have at the back. So if you don't do this, most time you see the person may struggle with the zip malfunctioning at the back. Now here's another thing you can still do. You can, it's not by force, but you can do it. So on this zip, on this waistline at the back too, this waistline here. So put your tape directly on this waistline that you have here. This might have an iron. So mark 0.25 here. So on the back pattern, this is the waist on the back pattern, on the waistline of the back pattern. Just exactly look at what I'm doing. So you mark 0.25 inch, the upper side, then the lower side 0.25 inch. So once you've done that, you connect it back to the dart that you have here. Are you seeing it? The truth is, it does not affect the length of the back in any way. You can choose to do it, you can choose not to do it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So this way is going to, I hope you can see it. So this way is going to remove any issue you have with back bulge. In any way is going to remove all of them. So once you've done this, now our pattern is almost ready. I think we are done. We're almost done. So the next thing I'm going to do is to close the bust dart. I'm going to close the bust dart. So once I do that, our pattern is ready. But first, let me cut out the center front. Let me do that. So let me quickly get my scissors. Remember, I also need scissors. I didn't mention that earlier. So this is what I'm going to. I need you to notice how I'm going to be cutting this out. And in case you only need, maybe you want to make peplum, for example, just do exactly what I did up to this waist point here, both for the front and the back, and that's enough. But if you are making a full scale, you can do this. So this is your half scale from the waist, from the shoulder to the waist is your half scale. Please take note of that. So this is what the pattern looks like. This is what the pattern looks like. So now remember I said this is a full scale. So if you now want to if you need only the half scale, this is what you're going to do. Now look, this is the back pattern. You can decide to just cut it from, this is the waist. So this is the half scale now. Then this is the full scale. So all you just need to do is you can just use sellotape on both of them, and that'll be good. Then for the back and for the front pattern too, this is the front pattern. This is how do you? So now I'm going to close the bust down, because if you look at the front and the back, they are not equal. You notice that their lower side is equal, but if you look at the front, the half scale side, you notice that it's not equal. So this is what I'm going to do. You come to the front pattern and you slash the midpoint of the waist that like this. Please make sure you don't cut too deep. So once you've done that, then the next thing I'm going to do is to cut this way. Can you see it? So this is I'm going to close the bust that we'll have here. Let's see what I'm going to do. So once I've done that, it's just to cut out the side. So if you place them beside each other now, they are equal. Can you see it? So this is the half scale now. I hope you can see it. So this is the half scale, and this is the full scale. You understand? This is the full scale. I hope you can see this. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, please subscribe to our channel, like our video, and leave any question you have in the comment section regarding this. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you.